Hey there, kids. It's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. Now that I've returned from the grave, I'm hungry for brains and merchandise. Thankfully, before I died, I partnered with Juan Coven to design this sick t-shirt so that you can look awesome in this life and beyond. Click the link in the video description below to get your very own shred till you're undead t-shirt, mask, or whatever else you want my ghoulish face on. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got to meet an old friend for dinner.
Playing ghost songs is fun, but it's a lot more funner if you don't have to tune your entire guitar down to D standard. So in today's lesson, we're going to take a look at how to play square hammer, ritual, and dance macabre in good old drop D tuning. Well, hey there kids, it's your ghoul buddy, Uncle Ben. It's no secret that I love the band Ghost and I listen to them all the time, but there's just something about listening to this band during the Halloween season that's so perfect. But if you want to play along with their tunes, you gotta have a guitar that's set up for D standard, which is something I know not everybody has. Same goes for Motley Crue, and a couple months ago I put up a video about Motley Crue songs you can play in drop D tuning as opposed to D standard, and you guys seem to like it a lot, so I figure it's the perfect time of year to talk about some of Ghost's biggest hits that we can play in the much more friendly drop D tuning. As always, downloadable tabs, backing tracks, bonus lessons, and so much more are available to everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Even for just $1 a month, you get access to all kinds of goodies, plus a community of awesome people like yourself. This week, everybody who supports my channel is going to get downloadable tabs to go along with all these songs, as well as a free Axe Effects 3 download of the tone that I made to go along with this video. So don't delay, click the link in the video description down there and sign up today. Thanks. Gear-wise for today's video, I'm playing this lovely Dunnable R2. This is part of his DE series, which is the import line. Just got this thing recently and it is awesome. I've got this thing in drop D tuning and I'm running into the Axe Effects 3 for the tone. Let's get this thing started here by talking about one of their biggest hits, Square Hammer. Cool thing about playing this song in drop D is it's actually a little bit easier than playing it in D standard. Let's check it out riff by riff. Okay, so let's kick this off by talking about the main riff here, which is going to start off on our D string. So you're just kind of playing the same figure on the D with these E and F notes. You're just kind of swapping at the bass note from D, B flat, A, and C. Pretty easy, and that'll come back a bunch of times throughout the song. Now behind that, guitar number 2 is just playing the simple power chord figure. That's a D, B flat, A, and C. Whenever the verse of the song starts, the guitar just goes to a single string version of that same riff. So you're going to be playing that D, B flat, A, C thing like this. Then in the main riff. The chorus of the tune is based around power chords of D, B flat, F, and C. And there's a couple licks thrown in there for good measure. First part of the chorus here, you're gonna play your D power chord, your B flat, and then what I'm gonna call the B flat lick. So you can see I started off here on the 3rd fret of the low E and slid back up to that 8. Play the 8 on the A and the 10 on the D. This is like a B flat sus2 chord. After that, you're gonna play your F power chord and your C, and what I call the C lick. So you can see there I played the 5 and 7 on the E, and then the 3 on the A. Next time through in the chorus, leave the B flat lick out. Then you're going to play it again with the B flat lick. And the C lick. No B flat lick. And then we have this thing that happens down here on F. So you can see it's based around that sus2 shape here at the 3rd fret with some picking going on. Check it out. Okay. You could do it with a bar if you wanted to. I'm just using multiple fingers because I can play it cleaner that way. And then you play the C lick before the end of the chorus. After that, it's back to the main riff, a verse, a chorus, and then at the end of the chorus before the solo section, we have this little tag. So that was just a G power chord, and then kind of the back half of the riff. This leads us up to the guitar solo of the song, and like I said, this is going to be close enough for rock and roll. Close enough that if you're playing this live, everybody would probably think that you nailed it. There's 1 or 2 licks in here that I'm not sure any of us play right because they're kind of buried in the mix a little bit, but like I said, this is close enough. Anytime I'm playing leads, I like to have a little extra boost and some delay on there, so I'm going to go ahead and turn those on in the Axe Effects 3 patch that I made. Here's the first lick of the solo. So there's some hammer-ons and a lot of open strings in here. That leads us to this lick. Be sure to let the hammer-ons and stuff do the work for you here. We're going to use that same half-step bend on the B string for the next lick too. So let it to it there by playing the 3rd fret, half-step bend, let it down, G on the same string, D on fret 2, and then walk it up. The next part of the solo here is just the main riff being doubled up an octave higher. So we're going to start that off here on the D note on fret number 7 of the G. Good little digit twister right there. That leads us up to the double stops, and again, this is where things get a little bit murky, especially with the second set of dyads that we're going to do here. I notice all the tabs and lessons and stuff, everybody's kind of doing something different right here, and they all sound pretty close because that lick is pretty murky and buried in the mix a little bit, so something in this neighborhood, it'll be close enough. First set of dyads here moves from the D and G to the G and B. It sounds like this. This second set is the one that's a little bit unclear. Something like this. So you can see I was kind of doing like an F power chord with a C in the bass. Then jumping up to this C dyad. My buddy Chris Zupa played something like this. And that sounds good too. Just make sure you end here. That's kind of the most important part of this, really. After that, you're going to play the first set of dyads again. And then he jumps up the neck here to play this. So you can see I have my B and G here on the same fret. I hit the B string first. And then we're going to go down here to 9 and 8 on those 2 strings. So our entire double stop section is going to sound like this. Then for the last lick of the solo, we're going to jump up here to the 13th position and play this lick. And then the solo ends on this fast lick that I'm pretty sure is doubled up by a synth. Sounds like this. Again, 3 notes, nothing too crazy here. Be sure to let the hammer-ons and pull-offs do the work for you. And that's the entire solo. After that, you got another chorus and then the outro section over the repeated right here, right now thing. It's kind of like the chorus, just with no licks, and then a little walk down at the end. Sounds like this. So you can see there at the end, after I played the C power chord, I immediately walked down the low E string here from 5, 3, 2, and then ending on that open D at the end. It kind of sounds like the second time through, they might be playing that B flat sus2, but my ears might be deceiving me there. Use whichever one you think sounds more cooler. And that's all we got for Square Hammer. Fun tune. Up next, let's talk about another Ghost mega hit, Dance Macabre. Dance Macabre. Dance on my cob. You know what I mean. Super fun song to play, it's not too terribly difficult, and the first time that I heard it, I thought that it sounded like ABBA with a heavy dash of Satan on top, which is pretty much how all of Ghost sounds anyway, which is why I like Ghost. I like things that are nice. First riff of the song is mostly based on some power chords here on your A and D string. Let's check it out. Nothing too crazy. You can also use that riff in the chorus of the song with a couple little modifications, or play it like I do, which is an octave lower. We'll cover that when we get there. Several times through the song, there's this F power chord that happens. And the ghoul playing keys kind of embellishes that with this little like sus4 to major kind of resolution. Sounds like this. If you don't have a keyboard player in your band and you want to include that, you can always do it by playing, it's essentially like the bottom 4 strings on fret number 3. And then you need to move just the G string down a half step to get that major voicing right there. So that's like 3, 3, 3, 2, an F major. I like to play that by using my thumb to fret the bass note. Then I'll use these 3 guys to fret A, D, and G. Then use my first finger to move that G string down a half step. It's a cool way to fill the harmony out if you don't have a keyboard player in your band, and we're going to do the same thing in the verse too, because otherwise it's pretty boring. If you want to keep the verse really simple, just play this palm muted riff on the low string. But if I was playing this in a band without keyboards, I would play it like this instead. So how I'm doing that is I'm playing that bass line that we talked about earlier on the low string using my pick. And then with my second and third fingers, I'm plucking out some dyads on the D and G strings to give it a major or minor tonality like the keyboard player does. First one here is G minor. You're going to have the 5 on the E, 5 on the D, and 3 on the G. Next you're going to have E flat. That's 1 on the E, 1 on the D, and the open G. And then you're going to have that same F sus4. The F major thing that we did earlier. So I've got E, D, and G here on 3, and then E and D on 3, G on 2. That's our F sus4 to F major. Next we'll get to the pre-chorus of the song, and this section has the bass really doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and if you want to play it exactly right, you really need 2 guitars because they're doing that cool harmony thing. What I'm going to show you guys instead is just a simple kind of power chord way to play this to make it sound nice and full whenever you're playing on your own. Sounds like this. So you get yourself some power chords. Some single notes on the E. And this again is where the guitars branch off and do their harmony stuff. We're going to play some power chords instead. And you can do that same F sus4, F major thing right there at the end. Now let's talk about the chorus of the song. It sounds like one of the guys is playing it in the octave that we played in the intro, and one guy's playing it an octave lower. I would prefer to play it that way just to make it sound as big as I can. It's gonna sound like this. And be sure to watch for a couple little variations they throw in there at the end. After that, you got another verse and chorus, then we get to the bridge section, which is kind of like the main riff, but in a different key. Let's play it one more time here. After that second chorus, we get to the guitar solo, and rather than break it down lick by lick like I did a square hammer there, what I'm going to recommend you guys do is to find my lesson and tab that I put up a couple years back. It's Weekend Wank Shop 183. You can go on Instagram and look up hashtag Weekend Wank Shop 183. You'll find the tab for it. Just take everything I showed you in that lesson and just move it down one whole step. That's it. So if it says 15, play 13. If it says 7, play 5. Just move everything down one whole step. It's going to work out fine. Except for one lick that does involve some open strings. We got to figure out a way around that one because none of your open strings will sound right if you use them. Here's a lick I'm talking about. That one's a lot easier if you are playing in D standard tuning, but it'll get the job done. Other than that, keep everything exactly the same as it was on the tab, just move everything down one whole step. After that, you just got more of that catchy chorus and then the little outro solo. Let's talk about that. So really laying into that G12 there. Before we go to the B. Play the last phrase one more time. After that, you're going to play the first part again. And then you're going to play just octaves of that F note. So the whole outro solo should sound something like this. And that is all she wrote. My personal favorite Ghost record is still the very first one, Opus Eponymous. I think every song on that record is perfect. Definitely got me addicted to that band. And one of the most popular tunes on there is Ritual. A couple years ago on Weekend Wank Shop 138, I gave you guys a total rundown on how to play every single guitar part in that song in D standard tuning. You can find the tabs for that on Instagram just by looking up hashtag Weekend Wank Shop 138. And you can watch a video for all the details about all the little nooks and crannies and guitar layers and stuff that are going on in that song. Just keep in mind that if it's being played on any of the first 5 strings, you're going to need to move everything down one whole step lower than what I showed you in that original transcription. That goes for the solo as well. Just to save time in this video, I'm not going to break down the solo in there. Just go and check out that original lesson and move everything down one whole step and you'll be just fine. Let's talk about those intro chords here. First one that we have is a G sharp major chord. You can notice I'm also adding in that 6 here on the high E string there for that last strum. After this, you're going to have C minor. Go back to your G sharp major, C minor. After this, we're going to play B flat, and F, C minor, and that's a G major. The next time through, you're going to play all the same stuff with the G sharp and C minor, B flat, and then after that, play an A flat dyad just by playing the G and B strings here on the first fret before it leads up to the main riff of the tune. I love the big dumb riffs like that one that are all over Opus Eponymous. It's so fun to play. This is pretty simple. It's all on the bottom string, and the only thing that changes after that first lick is you're going to have a couple of different notes that you end on. So that's 5, 6, 7, open, 3, 6. It's kind of the end of the riff right there. And then you have the back end of the riff. And this is where you have 3 different ending notes. And so you're going to have the A flat, the B flat, and the C that are all different ending notes that they use at different points in the riff. The first time that this riff appears, you're going to end with the B flat, and the second time around, you're going to end with the A flat. Should sound something like this. B flat, A flat. During the verse, it's the exact same riff with the ending happening on B flat and then the ending happening on C. Now, with the chorus section, you could just play it as power chords. And that'd be fine. The first chorus is short, the second chorus goes on and is a little bit longer. Now, the way I like to play it kind of emulates both guitar parts. You got one guitar player that's just playing the power chords on the bottom. Meanwhile, you got the other guitar player who's filling out the harmony on the high strings. We can get the sound of both of those by using some similar chord shapes to what we did in the earlier parts of the video here. This is an A flat major chord. I've got 6, 6, 6, how appropriate. Then 5. Take it up a whole step to B flat, that's a B flat major. Then you're going to have this C minor chord, 10, 10, 10, 8. So it's B flat, A flat. And that's the first chorus of the tune. The second verse is twice as long as the first, so it uses all 4 different ending combinations. So the first time you're going to end on the B flat, second time it ends on A flat, third time it ends on B flat, and then the fourth time you're going to end on C. That's before you go into chorus number 2, which is also extended. So chorus number 2 starts off just like chorus number 1 did with your major and minor chords. B flat, F major, C minor. Then we're going to use that same move that we did before with a little G sus4 to G major. So again, that's the bottom strings all on the 5th fret. Then just moving the G string down a half step. So that's how chorus number 2 goes. And at this point, we're going to change it up and go to this figure. Kind of a typical little tritone riff right there. Just using the 3rd fret on the A, 4th fret on the E. Then we'll get to the bridge riff, which is easily the most confusing part of the song. Be sure to follow the tab really closely. I'll play it for you slow here a few times too. And then we close out the riff with another flat 5 dyad thing using the 1st fret on the bottom string and the open A. Like I said, for the guitar solo, be sure to check out Weekend Wank Shop 138 and just move everything down a whole step. After that, you got the third verse of the song, which is just like the first verse. It's a half verse. So you're going to do the B flat ending and then the C ending before we get to the last chorus of the song. The last chorus of the song is just like the second chorus on repeat, so you're going to do the whole sus4 ending and stuff on there, just like you did earlier. After that, there's an awesome outro guitar solo, which is totally worth learning. Again, just consult the old tab and stuff that I put up. Find it there on Instagram and stuff, and just move everything down 2 frets. There you go, guys. 3 Super Smash Ghost hits that you can play in drop D tuning just in time for the Halloween season. There's a lot of other tunes of theirs that you can play in drop D tuning as well, so if there's some particular songs that you want to see lessons on in drop D tuning, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. There's also a few Ghost songs that you don't even have to tune down to play, like Gula/Zombie Queen. Live, I've seen them play that with a capo on fret number 2 of their, D standard guitars. So you can actually play that song in E standard tuning with no adjustments at all. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to say thanks and support my channel and grab those tabs and all that other stuff, be sure to support my Patreon page over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. And be sure to get your Shred Till You're Undead merchandise by clicking the threadless link in the video description down there. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for new content coming at you every single week, and ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. Hope everybody out there is having a great Halloween season. I know that I am personally, watching lots of scary movies and stuff. By the way, if you're a scary movie fan, be sure to check out my weekly horror movie review podcast, Dead and Lovely, available on every major podcasting app, as well as like Spotify. You can find it pretty much anywhere. We've got over 200 episodes now, so just pick a favorite movie and start there. By the time this video comes out, we should have a mini episode on the brand new Halloween Kills that just came out, so be sure to check that one out if you want to hear all our thoughts on that one. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but it's time to get off of YouTube and go play some guitar. Less clicking, more picking.